Today I would like to share with you guys our read-alouds that we did in our homeschool for the last 3 years. I have already done 4 parts to my homeschool read-aloud series, showing you guys all of the books that we did in our first 4 years of homeschooling, and I'm combining these last 3 years into one video because in the last 3 years I have repeated a lot of the books. In fact, I've repeated 20 books over again for my son, who didn't hear them the first time through because he was too young. So I'm only going to show you guys the new ones, the ones that I have not shown you in the last 4 videos. So let's get right to it. So these are from the last 3 years of our homeschool. So the first one I have to show you here is Stuart Little. Here's another E.B. White book. He also wrote The Trumpet of the Swan and Charlotte's Web, also illustrated by Garth Williams as well. So this is a classic children's book. It's about a little mouse, but he is actually born to a family of humans, so they had a little mouse child. So he is named Stuart Little, and it just talks about what his life is like. There's his brother, and they're exercising in the morning. It's just kind of a fun little story, and his what his life is like. He has adventures, being so small and looking like a mouse. So that's kind of what the basis of the story is. So the children enjoyed this one. So that's Stuart Little. And the next one we read was The Railway Children by Edith Nesbit. We had already read the Bastable stories that she wrote, and we really liked those. So we read the Railway Children, and it's just another great Edith Nesbit book. This one doesn't have any illustrations in it, but I'm pretty sure there are some versions that have illustrations in them. So these children become acquainted with the railway that's near their home that they're staying at, and they have adventures by the railway. So that's this one. The next one I'm going to show you is The Sign of the Beaver, and this one's about a 12-year-old boy who built a cabin with his father and in the woods, in the wilderness, and the father goes to collect the rest of the family and leaves the 12-year-old boy, Matt, alone while he goes to get the rest of the family. And so this is his adventures, being completely alone in the wilderness, and how he takes care of himself, and he befriends an Indian boy, and the Indian actually teaches him a lot of things about survival because he's all by himself. And it's very interesting book, and we definitely enjoyed this one. The Sign of the Beaver. Next we started a series called The Moffats. So there are 4 books in this series. So there are 4 children in here. We have their mother, who is a widow, and so they're somewhat poor, but they have various adventures and good times, and we really enjoyed all 4 of these books. So if you look at the back, it says, "Even the most ordinary Moffat day is packed with extraordinary fun. Only a Moffat could get locked in a bread box all afternoon, or dance with a dog in front of the whole town, or hitch a ride on a boxcar during kindergarten recess, and only a Moffat could turn mistakes and mischief into hilarious one-of-a-kind adventure." So we really enjoy the whole Moffat series. So this is the first book, The Moffats, and then the second book is The Middle Moffat, and this focuses mainly on one of the children, Jane. Here is the oldest inhabitant. That's what everyone calls him because I think he's 100 or 101. So similar stories. They have their adventures. They have their they get into mischief. They have fun. So I believe these were written in the 40s. And I'll show you the other 2 on the computer when I get over there soon, because the other 2 are on openlibrary.org, which I will link below if you would like to go check out those books. at that website. So the next one we read was Lassie Come Home, and we really love this story. So Lassie belonged to a boy, and Lassie had to be sold because the family needed the money, and Lassie moved all the way up here in Scotland and made her way all the way back home to the boy by the end of the story. So it's Lassie's adventures as she's traveling, and it's just, it's a great book, classic book. We really, really enjoyed this. Lassie Come Home. And lastly, I'd like to show you guys what we were reading throughout the summer, actually this last summer, so 2019. We read The Hardy Boys. So these are the original Hardy Boy books that were published in the 1920s, the very original editions. Now these are reproductions, but they are exactly what the originals looked like. So this is reproduced by Applewood Books, if you're interested in getting these. So this is the first one, The Tower Treasure. And I read the Hardy Boy books when I was growing up, but I read one of the newer versions. So let me just tell you, if you've never read an original version of the Hardy Boys, they're very, very different. So this was the first one. The House on the Cliff was the second one. And I wanted to show you, to compare one of the modern ones with it. So this, I think it says it's from the 80s here, when it was last edited here, 1987. So first of all, notice that the pages in here, there's 180 pages in this. These are the same books, House on the Cliff. 180 pages in this one, and in this original story, there's 212. So you have more pages, and they're just so much better written in the original, and actually much more exciting and interesting. So if you can find, whether the reproductions or just an original copy of the Hardy Boys books, I highly recommend getting the original ones. They're very, very exciting and more interesting, I feel, than these modern ones. I've read both of these, and this one is in fact my favorite of all of the ones that we read. Very, very, very exciting. So we read House on the Cliff, Missing Chums, Hunting for Hidden Gold, The Secret of the Old Mill, and The Shore Road Mystery. And if you guys don't know what the Hardy Boy books are like, they're mystery stories about two teenage boys, and they help their father sometimes solve mysteries because their father is a detective, and sometimes they solve them on their own. Very exciting and very interesting. So now I'm going to move on over to the computer and show you a few books at openlibrary.org, so you can see a few of the other ones we read as well. So here we have the third Moffat book. This one is called Rufus M, and this one focuses on Rufus. He's the youngest Moffat. So again, this is on openlibrary.org, and I'll link it below. They do scans of the original books, so it really feels like you're reading the real book. So it has all of the original illustrations. So again, similar to the other ones. So if you like the first one, you will like all four of the Moffat books. So that's Rufus M. And then we have the fourth Moffat book, The Moffat Museum. And in this one, the children put together a museum and have people come and visit it. And of course, they have all sorts of other adventures as well. So these are the Moffat books. Really enjoyed them. The last book that I would like to show you is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang by Ian Fleming. So this is a great adventure story. The children absolutely love this. If you've seen the movie, this book is nothing like it at all, except there's the car that can fly, but that's about the only thing that's the same. Illustrated by John Birmingham, and we love the illustrations. It's just a great adventure story. It's clever, it's funny. Here we have Commander Karaticus Pot and his wife and his 2 kids, and they have all the adventures. They get into, they run into some smugglers. They try to capture them. It's just, this is a great book. Highly recommend this one. So this is the last one that I have to show you. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all of these books, and I would love to hear what your favorite read-alouds are or what you're reading right now with your kids. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.